Record. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and like dive right in and introduce our speaker. I'm so excited. So Nicole is leading our team call tonight. We kind of became, I feel like, success partners like in out of the blue after hosting a like Push Beyond Diamond group together with some other coaches in Team Fight to Finish. But if you don't know anything about Nicole, I'm just gonna read. So she just ended the year of 2020 as elite, her team and herself, like they're elite together. And they also ended as a 5-star diamond team. And it's their first year doing this. And she only signed up in 2018. So that's like pretty freaking crazy. I know I've been a coach for a lot longer and it took me just a while to like get my crap together. So the fact that she just like hit the ground running is so inspiring to me. They also ended the year at number 113 in the company. So that's crazy. I think there's about like 350,000 coaches right now in the network. So just to be in like the top 100 is insanely wonderful, like so awesome. So you can definitely trust that like she is successful. Like obviously she's doing something right. She has, so Jamie is her upline coach if you didn't know. And I think you originally signed up with her, right? Like, or did you sign up with someone else and then they canceled and you rolled up? Okay. Yeah. So that's like super interesting. So her coach originally canceled and then she like rolled up to Jamie. But other than that, so she launched her business in 2018 and like started the ground running with 80-day obsession. Obviously she probably got like a bomb ass transformation because that's like, I feel like those are all the most successful coaches. Like they just, you know, start a program, get amazing results and like want to go all in. And I know 80-day obsession was incredible for that. And she's also hit Success Club for 24 months in a row. So that would make her a Success Club legend, I believe, right? All-Star is 12 months, legend is 24. So super incredible, like just so many amazing things. She's also a mom and a wife and retired herself from a corporate job, right? Previously. So many things, like so inspiring. And you have 2 boys, 2 sons. So like she is the like craziest badass woman I've ever met. I'm like, mom goals, I want to be like you when I grow up. Okay, I'm just gonna transfer it over to you and you can start sharing with us.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to share with you guys tonight. I am going to be talking mostly about leadership, but I do want to chat with you about my journey because, you know, she mentioned a couple of things that I think are important to know and to hear other people's stories and how they got started. So I actually signed up as a coach in 2017, but that was like my year of me, and I just focused on myself that whole year. I was just a discount coach, and yeah, I had signed up with a girl from college, Mia. I don't know if any of you know Mia, and you know, she was more of like a hobby coach. She was trying to build a business but didn't really know what she was doing yet, and her coach was under Jamie. So I actually rolled up like twice under Jamie, and her coach quit, and then she quit shortly after that because she was planning a wedding and just was overwhelmed. So I rolled up to Jamie, had no idea who Jamie was, and I was just kind of on my own for like 6 months. And my coach had been running challenge groups, so I just kind of started to do that, started like sharing my journey a little bit with people, you know, on Facebook. I didn't have like a business page or anything like that. I didn't know what Success Club was, had no idea what Emerald was or even how to get that. And so I just was running like these fun groups just because it was helping me be accountable. So that was like all of 2017 for me. And then 80-Day Obsession launched in January of 2018. And I was like, this is my jam. I am going to rally with this program. And so I just threw it out there again and had a bunch of people like actually join me. And I ended up hitting SD12 or something like that in January of 2018. Again, not knowing what I was doing, but it was a new program. And I signed everybody up with the challenge pack, of course. And that was the first time that Jamie was like, oh, hey, who are you? She was, you know, she's like, you hit SD12. I don't even know who you are. Like, tell me about you. Like, what, you know, where did you come from? And so that was like the first time I had a call with Jamie. And she's like, girl, we need to get you to Emerald. Let's do this. She's like, you are obviously like so capable, and this is what Emerald is. This is what Success Club is. These are things that are important that you need to do and should be doing. So I was like, okay, yeah, like just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And at that point, I was at a really great place mentally. I was at a really great place physically. I was in love with coaching and just helping people. And it was like the first time I was really experiencing like all of those things. So I was all in at that point. And she's like, let me get you into this Emerald group and you need to sign up your husband. And I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. My husband was like not very supportive. He did not like me sharing on Instagram or Facebook or anything. He did not like that I was sharing myself in a sports bra sometimes, which wasn't even very much at that point. He just was like not getting it. He wasn't understanding that this was so fulfilling for me and like changing me for the better. Like he could see that, but he just like wasn't getting it. And so she was just like, girl, you have to do it. Like, if you want to do this long term, like, you have to do it. And so eventually I was just like, okay, babe, I need your social security number. Let's do this. And so signed him up and then signed my sister up. So she hadn't even signed up with me that whole first year that I was just being a hobby coach. And so I was like, hey, sis, I need your help. Like, I'm going to run with this business and I would love your support. And like, you don't have to coach or anything, but I just need you. And so she was like, okay, like, tell me what workout plan to do. I'll help you. So boom, I hit Emerald like March of that year, March of 2018. And then Jamie announced a leadership retreat that she was going to do in the mountains of Utah. And you had to hit Diamond by June to get there. So I was like, okay, girl, sign me up, like challenge accepted. And I hit it by June that year and went on that trip. And it was a life-changing trip. It was such an amazing opportunity that I got to be there, be with Jamie and her like top coaches, Carly being one of them. That was the first time like I met Carly, first time I met Sammy and Steve in person. So even at that point, I wanted to share with you guys though, like I didn't feel like a leader as a diamond. Like I made Diamond happen. I made my husband Emerald and I made my sister Emerald. So I basically built Diamond on my own. I didn't have business builders under me. I did sign up a cold market coach during that process of going to Diamond, and that is Lauren, who some of you might know, and she ended up being Emerald like shortly after I hit Diamond, but she didn't help me get there. So after she did that, then I had, a little bit less like pressure to keep my Diamond solid, but I want you guys to know that like when you first hit Diamond, like sometimes that is in your total control and you may not have anybody under you at that point that is, actually building the business. And that is so, so common. And you just have to be okay with that and know that that's going to evolve over time. So after I had Lauren hit Emerald, then I felt kind of like I was doing something right. She was like following in my footsteps and she, was just doing her thing. And that went on for months. It was just like her and we would kind of run challenge groups together and she would sign a couple people up, but she wouldn't sign them up as coaches. And I'm like, okay, girl, come on, like you can do this. And, it just took her a while to get there mentally as well, just like it does for a lot of us. And then around October of that year, so we're talking like 10 months in, right? Is when I got my next Emerald. And then shortly after that, another Emerald. And then in January of last year, 2019, actually Summit of 2018 was a really big moment for me. I was like, okay, I really want to do this full time someday. And I told Jamie that by the next Summit, I was going to be coaching full time. I was going to leave my corporate job by then. And that was a really big, scary goal that I only like half believed at the time, but it stuck with me. And I started sharing that with other people. I started telling, my mother-in-law and my sister and some close friends and my mom, like, I want to do this full time and I'm going to try to make it happen by next summer. And my sister's a teacher, so she has the summers off. I wanted to be able to hang out with her during the summer and do like some little road trips and have some, you know, little vacays with our kids. And so like starting to believe that, right? It was like a mindset shift is really when this all started like really going for me. And not to mention, like I was doing all of the vital behaviors the entire year of 2018. I was following a business activity tracker to a T. I hit Success Club every single month. And most of the times, you guys, I only hit SC6, and I kind of scraped by most months. I did work a full-time job. I traveled a ton. I have kids. Like, I didn't have a ton of time at all. I had to make early mornings my jam, and I stayed up late some nights just to finish my tracker. Like I made that a priority. Like I had to get my tracker done because Steve and Jamie told me like that is what I had to do to get success. And I believed them and I trusted in them. And so I haven't missed Success Club since that point. You know, I was 100% a product of the product. I have not done a program since I started in 2017. I've done program after program after program, and I've gotten results after results after results, you know, and at some point for me, it's like, okay, I'm not really getting any more results, but I get a little bit of different change each time I do a program because each program offers something a little bit different. And, you know, I'm really good about my nutrition, like all of the vitals, you know, shouting people out, even when I didn't have like a full team going, I would shout challengers out like, oh, so and so lost 10 pounds, isn't that amazing? Like I'm so excited for her. Or oh my gosh, Lauren hit Emerald, like she's a rock star. She is, you know, doing big things in her business, which, you know, those of us after Emerald know that Emerald is like a choice. It's easy, but you make it out to be a really big deal to give them that credibility and that like confidence in themselves, and to show your followers that you are becoming a leader, and it gives your followers more faith in you and more trust in you too. So so recognition, product of the product, where's my notes? Connecting and inviting, like that was super awkward for me. I was not an Instagram person until January or February of 2018. So I started my page at that point with started at 0 that year, and had to figure out like how to connect and how to invite. And yeah, that was super uncomfortable for me, but I did it anyways. And Coach Sneak Peeks like got me out of my comfort zone to actually invite to coaching. And I got a ton of no's, so many no's, but I just kept going anyways. And I would do 100 reach outs per week. I had this grid paper that I would number from 1 to 100 every single Monday. And I would fill that in, and I would not fill it in for that week, 100 reach outs. Then I would put little tally marks next to each person's name about whether or not we had a conversation. So if we went back and forth 5 times, then I invited them. Like that was my like gut check. Like, okay, girl, just invite. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, tally mark, 5, just invite. Like eat the frog. Like right, just do it. And so that was what worked for me. And I know everybody has a different system, but for me, 100 reach outs and connections in a week was doable. You know, like I said, that might have meant some late nights, that might have meant some work on the weekends, but I made it happen. And I was like very, very true to that routine. So, yeah, just looking at the comments there. So anyways, I just wanted to like reiterate how important the vital behaviors really, really are. And you can make them out to be your own thing, right? Like you can be a product of the product in your own way. You can connect and invite in your own way. You can recognize people in your own way. You know, reading PD that works for you. A lot of times when I was working a full-time job, I traveled all over the state of Michigan. I traveled in Ohio. I traveled in Indiana. I was flying out to Omaha. I was flying out to Richmond, Virginia a lot. So I was on the go a lot. And when I did PD, a lot of times it was when I was driving or when I was working out or when I was showering or doing my hair or makeup. Like, you guys, I did not watch TV probably the entire year of 2018. I love The Bachelor. I did not watch The Bachelor that year at all. Like, sacrifice, it takes sacrifice, right? And that was just okay with me. Like, if you're serious about building this business, then you have to be serious about making some sacrifices happen. You know, I disconnected a little bit with friends and didn't go out as much, and I didn't have girls' nights, and I didn't have dinner parties at my house as much, because I was dedicated. And when I wasn't working, I was focused on family time. So, you know, you just have to be like okay with the fact that you're going to have to push hard and be super dedicated for a year if this is something that you really want to grow quickly, like I did. So, yeah, some sacrifice is going to be there, but again, just making the vital behaviors work for you, hitting Success Club and making that a priority. Like, do what you got to do. Like, find the system that works for you, find the numbers that work for you, find the people that seem to be attracted to you and that you're attracted to. Like, really dig deep into your avatar and try to understand that you're looking for you and that you're wasting your time by connecting, inviting to the masses. So that was a really changing moment for me too, is when I realized, like, oh, you know, Susie Q up in Alaska is probably not gonna, you know, connect with me. She's probably not gonna relate to me, especially if she doesn't have kids, especially if she's not my age-ish, especially if she isn't into fashion or doesn't have a dog, or, you know, name fill in the blank, doesn't have kids in hockey. Maybe she would if she's in Alaska, but besides the point, like, you got to really like dig deep into who your avatar is, and then the more you can connect with your people, the more success you're going to have, and the more likely you're going to find your business builders, because they're going to more than likely be people like you. Like, I know some of Leanna's leaders are like little clones of her, and it's the same with my diamonds. Like, they're basically clones of me. I'm not really a clone of Jamie because she didn't recruit me, but I've become maybe more like Jamie over time, and her and I connect on a lot of different levels. So that has worked. And long term, like, you're wanting to make friendships with your leaders, and that is really, really where leadership like gets strong, is when you have like solid friendships with the people on your team. And so, like, just know that you're just out there looking for your next BFF, and like, she really should stand out to you in a picture. Her profile, something should speak to you, and that's how you connect with people, not just connecting with everybody. Colored hair club, yeah, seriously, like, long hair people, like, go with the long hair people. Short hair people, go with the short hair people. Tattoo people, love the tattoo people. Like, I don't think any of my girls have tattoos. I don't have tattoos. But like, whatever your thing is, like, that is more than likely what your people are going to be like. So getting really, really real with that is super, super important. Okay, let me see. I have notes all over the place here. 1 full year of dedication is what I was getting at there, though, is like really being dedicated for 1 full year, using your tracker, finding your systems that work for you and sticking to them, and being like super disciplined about it. Yeah, and you know what? Some people might make comments along the way like, man, you're really, really working a lot. Yeah, yep, I am. Man, you're really into this health and fitness thing. Yep, I am. Oh, you can eat burgers? I thought you were a health coach. Yep, I can eat burgers. I just have, you know, modifications. And just like getting comfortable with the comments, because that's totally going to happen, especially in the beginning. And the more like comfortable in your own skin and the more real you can get about your dreams and your goals and your why, the reason that you're doing this, like, the more those are just gonna like hit you and bounce off, and the people that are saying the comments are gonna feel like idiots. So just like keeping true to yourself and true to your mission, because that is so, so important. Okay, let's see. So 2018 was when I hit diamond. I didn't hit any star ranks until 2019. So what I did was, really in January of 2019, I said, okay, like, summer's coming. right? I'm nowhere near where I want to be right now. It is January 2019. I am nowhere near 5-star elite going full time. Like the income wasn't there. Like I needed to make some changes and I needed my team to step up with me. So I had to do a live in my team page to really share my goals and share why 5-star elite, why I wanted that and what that meant for me and my family. I had to share with them that I wanted to do this full time and that it was my passion, and that I was like so ready to do it full time, that I was so done with my day job at that point. You guys, I was like maxed out on stress, doing 2 full-time jobs, trying to be a mom, trying to run a household, trying to do all the things, right? Like it is not easy. It is not easy. But you have to persevere and push through. And at some point you're going to have like that moment where you're like, okay, like something's got to give, and it's going to be my job or it's going to be coaching. And for me, it wasn't an option. It was like, it is going to be coaching and I need to figure out how to make this work. So I shared with my heart, with my team, that I wanted to hit 5-star and that I wanted to take any diamonds that hit it with me on a trip to Waco, Texas. I wanted to go to Magnolia Farms. Like that was always like a, kind of a bucket list item for me that I knew that I could afford. It wasn't going to be crazy expensive. And I knew that if I had hit 5-star by then, that I could afford it. And so so that was what my incentive was. And I said, all right, like who's with me? Who wants to go to Waco, Texas with me in the fall? Like who wants to help me make my dreams happen? And I got really emotional and I got really, I showed up with energy and just really, really shared my heart. And, I told them like, I need to make a push for 6 figures. Like I need to max or match what I was making in my corporate job, minus the daycare that I was paying for. Like I was really raw about a lot of that stuff, just so that they could really like hear like where I was coming from. And so I made a cutoff date of, I think June or May, to say, okay, you guys need to hit diamond by this date. I think it was June. And like that's the cutoff. Like, so if you want to go to Waco, Texas, if you want to be part of this success, like it has to be by then. I wanted to be recognized at Summit for some sort of star recognition. And so my girls rallied and they stepped up with me and they were like, okay, like what do I got to do? And at that point I had 2 like brand new coaches. I had a coach that had just hit Emerald in November, and I had Lauren, who had been just like plugging along as Emerald for the last like 7 months. Like, girl, come on. And she was like, okay, I'm in now, let's do it. And so we just rallied together and it was so much fun, you guys. And I made this little sticky note, and I'm probably going to keep this forever. But this little sticky note says 1-star by April 18th, 2-star by May 2nd, 3-star by May 2nd, 4-star by June 6th, and then myself 5-star by July 4th. So I had the sticky note and I filled in these blanks as we hit these goals. And it was like the most crazy good feeling to actually like hit that. And it didn't just happen by like chance. It didn't just happen by coincidence. Like we had to rally together. We had to push each other to share our trackers together, to hit Success Club together, to run coach sneak peeks together, to run Emerald trainings together so that we could get, Emeralds under them, all the things. And you guys, that stuff is a lot of work, but you have to do it. And you have to like partner up with people to make it happen. Another change that I did was I started an ongoing community so that I wasn't reinventing the wheel every single month and doing a new challenge group every single month. So ongoing community is like, I just felt like I had to do that to make everything work and to focus on the coaching side of things a little bit more. So all of my coaches and I worked together to build an ongoing community, and we all added our people in there together, and we built a massive community last year. It was pretty awesome. We went from like 30 people in January to 430 people by the end of the year. So it was, a really, really cool experience to do that together. And now we're at a point where I'm like, okay, Diamond girls, like you need to build your own. So, we're going through some growing pains now, and it's something to think about as you're leading your team forward and, making some of these decisions. Like, you really need to think about like the long term and how that will affect your coaches' businesses, and whether that is something that they want or not. So yeah, the sticky note, like, seriously, gives me chills every time I look at it. But yeah, so we rallied together. We did everything together. And, it took me like pushing for that though, right? It took me sharing my goals and putting these girls that said that they wanted this with me, that said that they wanted Diamond. It took me like holding them accountable and being like, okay, where's your trackers? Like, I want to see them. Let's go. How many invites are you sending out? Like, what work are you doing? Like, are we at Success Club yet? What is your goal this month? And just like pushing each other and like feeding off each other's energy and commitment. And when one of us had a like rough week, the others would pick us up. And so I really fell in love with chat pads last year. That was a big thing for our team. And as we had coaches, like new coaches, sign up at least one coach, we would stick them into an Emerald pad. And we did a lot of these Emerald incentives. And for anybody that hit Emerald in a given month, we would change the name of the chat pad each month to whatever the month was, like September's Emeralds. And so any coach that signed up one person, we would stick them in this pad, and then we would check in with them and rally and, shout them out as they sign somebody up, and then put them in a drawing. So put them in a drawing to win something. So there was like some sort of excitement, something to work for, and did it again as a team. So there were a lot of girls in there, and every week as somebody hit Emerald, we would shout them out and remove them from the chat. And so that gave FOMO to the other girls in there, right? They'd be like, shoot, I'm still not Emerald, and so-and-so hit it way before me. So that really worked well for us. I started a Coach University last year, and at first it was like a three-week long thing, then a 2-week long thing, and I just recently revised it to 1 week. But basically that is just training on the back office, training on the vital behaviors, having some people come in and do live trainings with the vital behaviors, and then getting them out of their comfort zone to have a before and after picture, and having them share it and doing like their I'm a coach now type post. Having them share their trackers and complete it that week, and having them run a free group with me, having them run a coach sneak peek shortly after that. So, kind of like laying the groundwork for my new coaches. And again, it was a lot of work, but it was all really worth it, and it really drove a lot of our momentum last year. I had a lot of girls hit Success Starter. I think I had 4 girls hit Success Starter. So, I felt like that was a pretty good testament to our process that we had going. Let's see what else. I feel like I haven't breathed this whole time. Push pads, incentives, setting dates. Yeah. So again, back to the sticky note, like set yourself some dates. Be like, okay, I want to hit 1 star by, April 1st, whatever your date is. And then make that a blank. And then, your coaches may not have that same date in mind, but make them pick dates too. Like, hey girl, you said you want to hit Diamond. What's your date? Like, let's get real about this. What's your date? Or Emerald, what's your date? And push them to commit to those dates. And then that's what helped me kind of like fill in my goals too. But I also knew that I had to do it within a short period of time. So I just kind of picked some dates. But anyways, setting dates and goals together is really important. All right, I think I covered all of that. So I wanted to say that like the difference between a leader and somebody who is just like, doing their own thing really comes when like you're in a qualification. Like when you are at Diamond and you have some people under you hit Diamond as well, like qualifications are really, really hard. And you've got to be building that relationship along the way with those leaders. So, make sure that you're doing that for those of you that are Diamond already and working towards the next step of 2-star. Like 2-star is really, really important. And that is where you start to actually feel like you're being a leader. Having people hit Success Club and having people hit Emerald, like those are the starts. That's the beginning of feeling like a leader and like stepping into that CEO role, holding people accountable, sharing like what you have planned for the month. That has been really big for me. I'm not a super organized person. Leanna thinks I am. I'm not. But I've had to work really, really hard at it because I've had some coaches on my team, Katie being one of them, who is really organized and who is like really driven by like, what's next? What do we have planned for next week? What do we have planned for next month? What can I be working on? Like, she needed those things, so I had to like level up and be like, okay, yes, I have a plan, let me get back to you, and like plan out my entire month and share it with them. Be like, okay, this is when we're going to have our next free group. Okay, this is when our next coach sneak peek is going to be. Okay, this is when this is what our challenge group theme is going to be. Who wants to make the posts? Who wants to make the graphics? And like just, creating opportunities for yourself to let people step into those leadership roles with you. Like those little things should tell you like who's ready to run. Your first indication are people that are showing up in your challenge group, right? Cheering other people on. Invite those people to help you with the challenge group the next month. Invite those people to help you with a post. Say, hey girl, I would really love some extra help with posting in my group next week or next month. Would you mind, helping out? And usually they're like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. Or, sometimes they say, no, that's okay, ask them next month. But it's identifying those players that stand out, and then doing the same with your coaches. Like, okay, she said that she wants to help me with a coach sneak peek. Like, obviously she's ready for the next level, and then having like a one-on-one and setting goals with them and, helping them until they get some momentum, and then, letting them spread their wings. But I did do a lot of hand holding last year for sure. I probably did more than others, but that was what worked for me, and that was what worked for my team. So, sometimes it's kind of defeating to have to like pull people along and to be the only one that is like, okay, this is what we're doing next, guys. And you get to a moment where you're like, I wish somebody else would take the lead, but that comes over time. So just know that like that first full year of dedication is a lot on your shoulders, but it does get a lot better. So, but yeah, what I was saying about like qualifications is like, that's where you start to really feel like a leader, but that's where it gets even harder. Like qualifications are no joke. And I know you guys just went through one, but like qualifications really define a leader and somebody that is not going to make it in this business. And so I'm just going to be really, really honest with you guys. Like, Diamond might feel hard, but girl, you wait till 2-star. Like wait till you're going through qualifications. It is hard. So just know that what you're going through right now is setting you up for that. So yeah, create a schedule, share that with your team, share your goals, share your heart, create opportunities for your people to step up with you, to level up with you, and be smart and recognize those people, and making sure that they're getting the recognition they deserve within your team pages, within your social media, making sure you're shouting them out and making sure that they feel appreciated by what you do. Sending them little gifts to say thank you, sending them a thank you note, inviting them over for dinner if they're close by. I also did a lot of team get-togethers last year, and that was huge for my team. I did one like every quarter. So the first one was like anybody that was an active coach could come. Then the second one was like, okay, you have to be an Emerald to be there. And then my other ones were you had to be an Emerald as well. But creating those opportunities to create, some team bonding was huge. I did a book club with anybody that wanted to do PD and have a little bit of extra accountability. So just all the things, you guys, like start with one thing, get that down, then move on to the next thing, right? Like there's so many things that you can do. You just have to like see what the need is and start with one thing. And then once you've got it down, go from there. Any book recommendations? Overcoming objectives. Ooh, overcoming objectives, I think, just takes time. I don't have a book suggestion for you. You Are a Badass was a really great book for me, just like giving me some self-confidence and really like being confident in my own skin and like being okay with just being me and really giving myself some boundaries. So when I first started coaching, I was like, oh, you just want the $99 annual bod? Okay. Oh, you want to do the free thing and then just pay $40 every quarter? Okay, that's fine. You know, want me to scratch your back too? I was just like a people pleaser, right? Like, okay, whatever, girl. And then I started to make like some boundaries, right? Then I started to realize, okay, like I'm spending a lot of time on this. I'm putting a lot of energy and a lot of effort. I don't have time for these people that aren't going to invest fully in themselves. So a challenge pack was my absolute minimum. And, you know, people would say, hey, like, do I have to get a challenge pack or can I just do the $99? And I'd be like, girl, listen, like if you're serious about this and if you're really committed, then the challenge pack is where it's at. But if you just want to do the $99 bod, that is totally fine. You can do that and I'll help you do that. But you're not going to be a part of my community. You are not going to receive my meal plans and I'll help you get started, but then you're on your own. And people would be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll do the challenge pack then. And that happened so many times. And that the more I did that, like the more confidence I felt because, you know, if people are going to say yes to you to begin with, like they want you, they want your coaching, they want your leadership, they want your help. There's something about you that they've already committed to. So if you can just be brave and like set yourself some boundaries and be like, nope, this is my minimum, like whatever that is, like that will help you overcome objections like crazy. Like honestly, I never get price objections anymore. People see me, they see my results, they see me drinking Shakeology every day, they see me drinking Energize every morning, they see me doing these programs and the nutrition, and there's never a question. They're like, I want what she's got going on, so okay, like whatever you do, I'll do that. So the more like, and I'm not sure if you are newer in this, in the business or not, but that does come with time, right? That comes with people like watching you consistently, showing up and posting consistently, being in your stories consistently, showing things consistently so that people know who you are and get a better sense of who you are, what you're about, and eventually they just will trust you and they will just want whatever you've got going on. So
so amazing, literally so many good things. I wanted to ask a few questions. I don't know if is that all you had or do you have more stuff? Oh, so good. And I love I know I wrote this in the chat. I like commented so many things in the chat, but I love that you went over your whole journey because it kind of gives like every single person, no matter where they're at, a chance to like resonate, because I totally remember being like an Emerald coach for I think like a year or like, I don't know, 8 months, almost a year. And then Carly was like, so you're going to hit diamond someday? And I was like, wait, what's diamond? Like I just had no clue and I was so not confident. And it's just like, I think, let's see, something I wrote down was like the confidence and the leadership that you like want to have and be comes with that time, like with growing your business. Like you're an Emerald coach and you're paid as an Emerald coach for a reason. It's because you're new and you're not super successful yet, and that's okay. And so I think like I love Beachbody's structure because it's like you can work yourself up to this higher level of income, this higher level of responsibility and leadership. And like if I was getting paid, you know, what I'm getting paid today as like a new coach, like I wouldn't be the leader I am today or the person that I am. And I know like you probably feel the exact same way. So I just love hearing that because it's encouraging. It's like, oh, you don't really have to do anything to become a leader. You just kind of like have to go on the journey and do the vitals and like keep following all the things. Okay, so I had a question about your Coach University. So that's like a new coach mentorship kind of thing. Do you run it monthly, like a new one, or is it an ongoing thing?
Yes, it's monthly, and I do a new group every month, and it's always like in the middle of the month. It's pretty consistently the same time of every month, followed by a free group like right after that, which is usually around the end of the month. So yeah, my month is set up very strategically now, but that took time, right? Like that took like some trial and error and like doing it at the beginning of the month and then realizing, oh wait, well this would be better at the middle of the month, and just yeah. But yeah, it is a new group every month, but it's basically rinse and repeat. Like I do the same posts, I do the same trainings, I have the same coaches do the trainings most of the time, but we're all doing them live again.
That's so awesome. And I just love that it's like a system like already in place, because I feel like for me at least, I've been changing up the way I do like new coach groups or new coach mentorships. And it like kind of drains you if you don't like find that system that's you and that works for you. And I think that goes for anything too. It's like it feels good to find your own system. And I love that you said like with the vitals, like make them yours, like find your own system. I know I tried out like, inviting 100 people a day, and then it got like super overwhelming. And so I like brought it back down to 10 people a day and then 20 people a day. And so, yeah, that's so, so, so good. Um, I also had a question. If any of you guys have questions, like throw them in the chat and then I'll just like read them out. But I'm just going to keep asking mine until somebody does. So my next question was, about like your elite and just goals in general last year. So you like knew you're like, it's time to level up. Did you announce all those goals to your team on a live video, or did you get them on like a Zoom when you were like super vulnerable with them?
Yeah, really good question. So I went live in my team page and shared that, like poured my heart out basically. And then I would remind them on my team calls. And I did team calls every week, every Thursday, and at first, of course, didn't have very many people showing up, but then the more people showed up, and I just kept reiterating like, okay, this is what our goal is. This is how close we are. Oh my gosh, you guys, Katie is almost diamond. I'm so excited for her. And oh my gosh, Lauren and Jen are almost diamond. And it was just like, getting that excitement every single week and like reminding them what our goals are every single week, and giving them an update and doing those updates in your team page, of who signed somebody up that week and who is at Success Club. Like I feel like those updates are so, so important, even if you just start with yourself. Like, hey guys, I sent somebody up today. Like, where are you guys at? And just like reminding them that you're in the trenches with them and that if you can do it, they can do it. And yeah, so I think those like little reminders along the way helped a lot too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think I like it. I told my girls on a Zoom call, but that was one thing I wish I had done earlier, because I kind of came into the year with I feel like I had a mindset of like almost cockiness, like, oh, we got this. Like, I don't need to communicate it that clearly. And like now looking back, I'm like, guys, like clear is kind, like the Dare to Lead book by Brene Brown. Like, you need to be so clear that it's like annoying to people, but just so everybody knows. And I love that you announce the reminders on the team calls, because that just creates more like team like momentum and morale. Like if I was on a team and I heard that we were hitting elite, even if I wasn't a part of it, I would be like, yes, like cheering those girls on who are going for it.
And
Okay,
even if and even if you had expected that, like, we knew that's where you wanted to go, I'm like, no, we didn't. Even though it's like, well, duh, of course she wants to hit a lead, but it's like we're so busy focused on like hitting our goals that we didn't even like realize, like, oh yeah, she wants to hit elite, and that takes us stepping up. And so when we hopped on that first elite call, it was like everyone was on fire. We all got off that call and we're like in our group chat, like, we needed that. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Like, and it's like, duh, we should have known that that was the vision, because hello, what coach doesn't want to be elite? But we were so busy just like tunnel vision on our own goals that it was like, well, duh, like, yeah, we need to work for a bigger goal than just like our goal. And I think that helped tremendously. Like, even, I mean, so many of us were like, oh my gosh, thank you for being so honest and clear with us of what you wanted, because it made us all push so hard. And then here we were. We didn't even finish at a 5-star. We finished at a 6-star.
So crazy. And I was like so surprised. I was like, what? Huh? Like everybody wants to? So
we were like pretty far. We weren't like right there at like 5-star. We were like 1-star.
yeah, we're holding strong at 1 star. Oh my gosh, crazy.
Yeah, so incredible. I'm so proud of you guys. It's so awesome. I was cheering you all on for sure. But yeah, I think
checking in every week, like how are you doing? Still alive.
Totally was, yeah. So excited for you. But yeah, that's such a good point. Just like don't assume that people know what you want, and don't feel bad about wanting a goal. Like I think that's what held me back for a while. Like I felt bad that I wanted 5-star, but then I realized like no, 5-star meant so much more than just a rank. Like 5-star meant like that was a huge income opportunity, and that could mean that I could leave my job, and that could mean that I could do more of this, and that could mean that I could mentor them more. And just like being really, really raw with that. I'm gonna get emotional even talking about it now, but like seriously, like you got to dig deep and figure out like what you're shooting for and why, and then share your heart.
Yeah, and like I totally like I'm always the person who felt guilty about it. And so like hearing that, it's like, oh, that's so good, because honestly, you have no reason to feel guilty about like wanting to hit these big goals, because you're helping the coaches that level up. Like I remember right when we finished quals, Alex and I or somebody, we were all on a chat some point, and we had been sending in our trackers every single day to each other or to the group chat, and we stopped doing that. And we were all like, we really like need to get back in that, because that was so helpful. And like, even though it was like this stressful time, we all like moved our businesses forward. So it just goes to show like the hard stuff is not always like something you should avoid. Like it's something to lean into. Okay, before I forget, Amanda had a question. What point in your business did you get your husband on board? And then during the time he wasn't, how did you just keep trucking along?
Girl, it was hard. It was really, 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 really hard. And little things that I did to like help him come around was, naturally some of our mutual friends signed up with me, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, look at so-and-so, she lost 10 pounds. Isn't that amazing? Like I would like share with him, some of those rewarding things that were happening for me, and like trying to make him understand like why this was important to me, and that it was helping me feel fulfilled, and it was helping other people. And like I just kept doing that, even if I felt like he didn't care. Like I just did it anyways. I was like, oh my gosh, look at so and so, I'm so proud of her. Like, oh, best, it's the best, isn't it, babe? And like even going to Summit, like he wasn't happy about me going to Summit. Going on that leadership trip in Utah, he wasn't happy about it. But I just like knew in my heart, like this was something for me, like for once, something for me that I really, really, really wanted. And I was just going to do it anyways. And, just like, I think it took him being like, oh shit, okay, she's serious, to finally like be good with it. And then it still took time after that for him to be like super supportive. And it was probably, last year as I was hitting all of these diamond ranks, he was like, dang girl, okay, so you are working hard. Okay, I see you. But yeah, it hasn't been easy with him, honestly. And I totally, totally like feel for people that are in that boat, because it sucks. And you just have to like push through and like find different ways to show them, whether that's with money, like, paying for their gas, or, buying the groceries with your coaching money, or, little things like that. Like maybe they want to see the financial results, or maybe they just need to see that you're serious, and that you're getting up early, and that you're not hitting snooze 10 times, and that maybe you're staying up late, and that you're not, staying up watching The Bachelor. Share your calendar with them. Like, what are you working on? Sharing with them that you have a call to be on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. and that you need their help to put the kids to bed. Like that was something that I had to, just tell him. Like I wasn't going to those calls for so long because I knew he'd be mad. And I had to be just like, okay, I have a call at 8:30 every Monday night, and I need your help. And you have any questions, let me know. But that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah.
Also, yeah, Summit for me too. Like Chad was never unsupportive. He just was like very unaware and like didn't get it. Like there's just a point, I feel like, when they don't get it to then suddenly they get it.
Yeah.
And it like clicks. And I remember I went to Summit my first year without him, drove to like New Orleans, I don't know how to say it, Nala. I drove to Nala by myself in like a station wagon and met Carly and Noelle for the first time, and Kevin, well, not for the first time. I knew Kevin as a kid, but Chad came the next year, and we had this conversation in bed one night because we were in a big house with everyone on the team, and he was like, I finally get it. Like, I finally understand what you do, because he like felt the presence of the community. He saw, you know, at the Summit events, like the transformations on the screen, because on the big events, they always show people's transformations. And so something he told me was like, what would have been helpful if, you know, we went back 5 months, was if I like literally showed him my challenge tracker app, you know, or my boot camp on Facebook, and like scrolled through and was like, okay, look, they're all checking in and this is motivating. So it's making me want to, you know, get my workout in. And like, that's what I'm helping. Like, I'm providing this place, the safe space for people. It's like just really dumbing it down to like elementary level, he said would have been so helpful. But now he's so supportive. So they truly do like always come around, I feel like, if it's the right like guy for you. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. And it was the cruise. It was the cruise last year. Like, so I paid for our first vacation together, basically, right? Or earned a lot of it. And it was that he finally was like supportive and got it. He had like that aha moment, seeing all of the other coaches, seeing a lot of the dudes, like seeing that not everybody was, you know, in perfect shape, and seeing that like there were all ages and people in different stages of their businesses, like seeing some of the big earners and then seeing some other people that were where I was and just kind of getting started. So yeah, totally.
I just have a few more questions real quick, and then I promise we can end this. So one question is, where are most of the coaches you're recruiting right now coming from? I know that's probably a big question for like everybody.
So Instagram is where most of my people come from. And I would say a lot of my coaches come from my challenge groups. Right now, it's starting to feel a little bit more 50-50, like people are signing up to actually coach with me. But before, like elite, you know, before 5-star, it was mostly my challengers turning into coaches. So it took, you know, took me being like, hey, I think you'd be an amazing coach. What do you think? Have you thought about it? You know, do you want to help me with this group? Yes or no, and then kind of like pulling them up, giving them that confidence. But you know, now I'm signing people up as coaches, but they've been following me for months and months and months, or even a year or more. I've got one girl who I'm like so close to getting signed up. She's been following me for 2 years, like since I started coaching. And she's like, I've been wanting to do this for so long, but she has just so many hesitations and just like the confidence thing, and just like overthinking everything. So yeah.
And I love that you said like mostly from your challengers, like before you went elite, because it just takes time for people to build that trust in you. Like, I think Heather and Alex came on both like wanting to coach, but like they were both also really wanting the challenge group. And it was kind of like up in the air of like if they would start coaching right away or not. So like same thing for me, I would say, like before really like hitting elite, and like I was full-time before that, but like it just kind of gives you this confidence, and like people recognize you and they're like, oh, like she must be doing something right, like, oh, I should stop and listen, like she's taking this seriously. So it helps them like take you seriously. But that's so cool how you like asked your challengers to help host the boot camp with you. I remember Carly did that with me, and I like, she first asked me if I wanted to coach, and I was like, no, but like, fine, I'll try it. And then like, she just started giving me like duties. She was like, will you post the national wake up call on the team page? Cool. Will you know, post every Monday in our challenge group? Cool. So like, just giving those little responsibilities, it's like, it almost teaches them to coach before they're ready.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you make it less of a big deal, like, okay, are you ready to do this? Are you ready to coach? You just kind of like give them these little tasks, then it's like, okay, they actually start like becoming a coach, and like, you're just like breeding them into coaching, I guess. It's so great.
Totally, totally. And I would say that every event that I went to, and every time I did like a retreat or something, I would get more cold market people interested. So it's so important to be at Summit. It's so important to try to shoot for incentives. You know, I don't know if Leanna has an Emerald retreat or a Diamond retreat planned, but it's so important to push yourself to get to those things, because that is where people start to like connect the dots. You know, like if they see me and Melanie Mitro at the same place and they follow us both, they all of a sudden like give me that same credibility that she has, you know, not knowing like what a difference it is from me to her. They just see that, oh, like she seems legit, you must be legit, right? And maybe they're intimidated to talk to Melanie. You know, maybe they connect more to me, whatever. But like, just being at those events connects the dots for people who are maybe like following multiple coaches. And I feel like those people are more likely to sign up as coaches. And so that is one of the big reasons that it's so important to get to events, whether that's Super Saturday or whatever.
Yeah, and like, never underestimating the power of like other coaches being, you know, like if somebody follows multiple coaches, if ever I have a conversation with someone and that's the case, I'm always like, oh, awesome, like sign up with whoever you resonate most with. And you never know if that's going to be you. Like, it's not going to be determined by how successful you are compared to how successful the other person is. It's literally just like who they resonate with, like what they have in common, or, you know, beliefs about something. So yeah, it's like, never underestimate that. And I know, like for my business too, like every event I went to, it was like all these, like this group of people I was talking to, like took it 10 times more seriously. And then I'd reach out to them the next month or invite them the next month. It would just get easier and easier, because you don't have to always explain yourself and explain how much it means and explain how serious you are and like prove to them. It's like, they just see it and they believe in it because you are showing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my last question was, when, I guess, and how did you like start creating boundaries for your business? I know, like as a mom, it was probably super easy, or maybe when you went full time, it was super easy to just like always be with your family, or like saying yes to all the things that you could go to. Like, how do you create that like discernment, I guess, for when it's like okay to sacrifice and when it's okay to like take time for your business or off? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, you know, I'll be honest, like I really struggled with like the work-life balance while I was working. And so just like the early mornings like had to happen. Like that is when I had to get my coaching work done. And then I tried to make the evening time for family time. You know, obviously I had to get the kids to school in the morning and stuff like that. Like just naturally I couldn't be working on coaching then, but you know, in the evenings, like setting aside a 2-hour block to be like, okay, I'm going to do dinner, I'm going to do bedtime with the kids. And then after they go to bed, then I'm going to sit down and do another hour or more of work. And I just would have like my activity tracker, like I said, was kind of my guideline. And if I didn't have a lot of that done, you know, by midweek, then I would spend more time like trying to catch up. And I just, yeah, while I was working, I think it was easier actually. And you and I talked about this recently, but going full time, then it was like, woo, like I can do all the things. And I got really like wrapped into projects when I first went full time. Like I'm going to do a new Challenger workbook, and I'm going to do this like coach workbook, and I'm going to do the meal plans and just, you know, all these things. And then before I know it, I was like, crap, I got to hit Success Club. And like just getting back to the basics and making the vitals like my priorities first every single day. And then if I get done with all of that by noon, then great. Like I can spend a couple hours working on projects or doing trainings or, one-on-ones and like prioritizing other things in the second half of my day, but making my business my priority first, if that answers your question.
Yes, so helpful. I like that. I feel like that's been my like 2020 is like, okay, we need to like get all of this figured out and like get it together. And it's almost like a good little reward for yourself, because if you get all your vitals done like fast, then you can go to the thing you love the most, or like go to something that's a little bit more fun, like trainings or whatever, or even like listening to trainings. And then what I've been doing is like going back. So like if I finish all my vitals and I do the fun stuff and I like then take a break, then I go back to like invites and follow-ups and emails, and like you can move the needle like faster that way, which is really cool too, because you're not just like checking them all only once a day. But yeah, so helpful. So many good things. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Little longer than our usual call, but it's always like so worth it when we have a guest.
My pleasure. It was fun. Love doing this. Love sharing. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Have a great rest of the night. Bye.
Bye, guys.